Oh, thank you so much. Well, it is Super Bowl Sunday, as I had mentioned, but it's also another important day. It's Michael's birthday today, back in our video booth. I asked why he didn't come up when we did birthdays. He said, because I was back in the booth making sure it all went out. So as it is Super Bowl Sunday and things get very excited and exuberant, I have to set a ground rule for today. There's been a time in my life when things got so exuberant during the Super Bowl that you know how they pour Gatorade on the coach for the winning team? Well, this happened at Unity Kitchener one day, and so no Gatorades on your minister, no matter how excited you get about service today. Okay? We got a deal on this? I always wear washable just in case. Excuse me. So this is the last of our series about how should we live knowing that we will die, and it's really a questioning path. It's a question. It's a path where we do those introspective questions. And we started out with who are we and our identity. And you know, the more we know about ourselves, the more we can own ourselves. And the more we own ourselves, all of ourselves, the more we can just be present. Because there's nothing we have to work at hiding or improving. We can just be present as who we are in this moment. And then we talked about what do we love. And it's really that our actions really do speak louder than words. Where do we invest our time? Where do we invest our money? Where do we think about connecting? Where do we really savor and favor moments? That's really about what we love. And then last week we talked about how do we live knowing that we will die. And really we do that by living every moment, being really aware of how precious this moment is. And I think it's like the flutter of a butterfly. You know, those little wings, and then they're gone so fast. And we know that in that flutter, they say, you know, if a butterfly flaps its wings over in China, we get a snowstorm in Canada. The same way with us. As we live this moment, we have this ripple effect into all of humanity. Each one of us do. So it's real key that we stay present and focused on living the life in this moment. So the final question in this series is, what gifts will I give to my earth family? And you've heard the saying that, you know, our life is God's gift to us, and what we do with it is our gift to God. And you can substitute whatever word. Our life is the cosmos, the universe's gift to us, and what we do with it is our gift back to the cosmos, to the universe, to the Tao, if you will. But how do we find our gifts? What do we know what they are? And I've come up with this theory that, especially Unity people, they have a helper gene. I have never met so many people that want to help. It's just, you cannot even stop yourself from it. It's just this thing oozing out. I mean, that's our gifts. We just want to be of help to one another. And just a wonderful consciousness to have, that feeling that you do have a value, that you can help other people, whether it's opening the door or moving something heavy for them. I mean, there's no end to that kind of scope. And it reminds me of a story of this man back in the early 1900s. And he was getting older, and he wanted to leave a legacy for his town. And he decided he would build them a church, a beautiful church, and nobody was allowed inside it till it was finished. And so finally the day came when they had the open house, and they invited everybody in to see this church, and everybody was going, oh, it is so beautiful. And they were just in awe until somebody noticed there were no lights in the church. And they go, well, how do we see when it's dark out? And he said, notice those little hooks on the wall? Those are for lanterns. And with that, he gave every family there a lantern. He said, when you come to church, you light your lantern and hand it. And when you're not here, there'll be darkness in God's house. Wow. That is how it is with life. When we don't show up, there's darkness in the universe. And we don't show up with open hearts. We don't show up with that helping gene being expressed. There is darkness in the universe. So really, it's where are we bringing our gift of light? Where are we bringing that gift of light? Well, Jesus talked about the parable of the talents. And if you're not familiar with it, basically this businessman was going away, and he had three people that worked for him that he gave them things of his to take care of. And he gave one man 10 talents. Talents was a huge sum of money. But it also works that talents also are what we have, talents and gifts. And he gave another man 5 talents, and he gave another man 1. And when he came back, what had happened was the one with the 10 talents and the 5 talents had invested it and done well, and he'd made a lot of money on it. The one with the 1 talent buried it because he was afraid he would lose it, make a bad business decision, and made nothing. And the reason I tell you this story, because I did it with Sunday school one time. And I had envelopes that had $1 bills, $5 bills, and 10 in it. And I gave it to the kids and asked them to do what they would with it. And I hadn't told them the parable yet. And so one person with $1 went and bought soap and washed cars and made like $10 to donate to the church. And one of the boys got $10, and he was afraid he would lose it and stuck it in his drawer and just brought it back. One of them with 5 went and bought lottery tickets, but that's a whole other story. But all of us are giving these gifts, and what do we do with them? You know, do we save them like we're going to run out of it? Somehow we're going to run, or we're going to do the wrong thing with it, or somehow damage it? Or do we really go out there and invest our energy and our time in it, the gift of our talents, if you will? So why would we withhold our gifts? And usually it's because of something in us that feels unworthy. It made me think of 2 movies. Do you remember The Shrinking Woman, Lily Tomlin? She kept getting smaller and smaller. And sometimes we get smaller and smaller too, especially if it's somebody that maybe we greatly admire and we just kind of shrink in their presence. We just don't feel worthy. Or how about the other movie, The Invisible Man? Do you ever make yourself invisible? I had a congregant in Kitchener who, after 2 years, I still could not remember her name, and I swear I would ask her, and she did something energetically that just disconnected me from her. I could not believe it, because I'm really pretty good at remembering names for the most part, and after 2 years, come on, you know. But some of us can make ourselves invisible energetically. It's an amazing, impactful thing, that somehow we think we don't have anything that's worthy for other people. And when we do that, we not only shortchange ourselves because we don't have that experience, but we shortchange the world. Remember, we're part of that human race consciousness. We are part of the oneness. It's not everything else and us, it's us and everything else. So I came up with an anagram for gift. God imparts formidable talent. Truly, we are all imparted with formidable talent. Formidable because we are us doing it. There's nobody does it like we do, whether it's the simplest thing as a smile or holding the door. Each of us are minutely different. None of it is too small. None of it is unworthy. It's always about that intention, that oozing out of giving love, if you will, to other people. We are the perfect gifter, and we have things that we can gift to each other. In fact, sometimes it's hard not to gift if you think about it. Just like we have that helper gene, we are just compelled to do that kind thing. We are compelled to do that connecting thing unless we're trying to make ourselves invisible or small. So more than perfect, we're more than enough. And I love this quote. It says, love doesn't mean doing extraordinary or heroic things. It means knowing how to do ordinary things with tenderness. And the woman that wrote this runs a community for developmentally disabled people. And she is so able to see what they can do. Love on the Spectrum is back on Netflix if you're a fan. And these people on the spectrum that are going on dates are so delightfully honest and open and vulnerable. It just warms your heart. It's about doing whatever it is that we do with that ultimate tenderness. So this whole idea of giving, it's also about being able to receive. You know, give and take, it's really give and receive, that we allow the things coming to us. If there were no receivers, there could be no givers. You see, it has to be a give and a take. And like Fillmore said, everyone should give as he receives. In fact, it's only through giving we can receive. Think about it. My son had a shirt once that said, "Smile if you're not wearing panties." Isn't that just brilliant? But, so we go, give and take. We think about our breath, because we're doing this all the time. We take in a breath, we let out a breath. And sometimes if we're tense, if we're shrinking down, we may get that spasmodic breathing. pity really fast if we're fearful, whatever. As opposed to when we take that healthy breath, we feel such a difference in our body when we just have that wonderful flow, being in that divine flow of giving out and taking in, giving out and taking in. And consider if you took a break from breathing. There's this priest, David Ross, and he says, it matters not if you breathe in and stop or if you breathe out and stop. Either way, you're dead. When we stop the flow, the energy flow of that interactedness with those around us, those that we know, those that we don't know, something happens. It's like this drop off the cliff, dead, a short in the energy of the universe. I always think of Luke Skywalker when he said, I felt a shift, in the universe. There's a short that happens. Buddha talked about 3 different kinds of givers, if you will. One of them is the beggarly givers. Yeah, Golem from the Lord of the Rings, I kind of thought of that. But, they really don't want to give. Sometimes they're forced into it, but if there's any way out of it, there's out of it. And whenever I think about givers, I think about pulling up to a stoplight when there's somebody at the side of the stoplight asking for money. And boy, if you ever want to find out where you are in giving, this is really a moment to really test your heart where it is. Then there's the friendly givers that I think about a musician playing. They give out music freely. This is their talent, and they give it. I was going to show you a video today. There is a guy over in Switzerland, and this was from 2019. He was playing a baby grand piano every day for the audience, but he was playing it upside down from a crane. Google it. Playing a piano this video of him playing these beautiful concertos, being in alignment with the environment around him, upside down, very high in the air on a crane. I did not see a bead of sweat. So we have friendly givers, we just kind of do those things. And then we have the kindly givers that take it maybe a little step further and think, what do I have that I can give? Where am I in this process? Not giving things because they're worn out or I don't want them anymore, but giving things that actually have value to you to something else, where really you feel the gift. You're making a conscious decision to give. And as far as those people that ask for money on the side of the road, I have found, because I usually don't carry cash on me, looking them in the face and smiling has been a real test for me. Just seeing them as a person as opposed to judging them, which I have found myself doing in the past, and making me feel uncomfortable. Why are they I'm letting them make me feel uncomfortable so I can look at them as a person and I can bless them, as I go on if I don't have anything with me that I can give to them in the moment. Then, of course, the ultimate giver is the divine. We can never outgive God. It's just amazing. It's just masterful that when we get into the flow of the universe, it's amazing how much flow in. I think of our community where we were left with nothing, and now we had to have a circulation day last year because we had so much stuff downstairs, we had to let go of it. The stuff just keeps pouring in, and we get to be a channel to allow that to go through. Part of the gift is in the intention of why we give it, like whether it's giving to somebody who's asking for money on the side of the street or giving to a friend, an organization. And Wayne Muller in his book tells a story about he was doing some chaplaincy work at the hospital, and he went and he visited this man. He sat there and talked to him and gave him the talk, tried to minister to him with a deep message about spirit. And I don't even know what religion Wayne Muller is. And after he had finished talking to the patient looked up to him and said, I don't understand a thing you just said, but I like the sound of your voice. It made me feel better. Isn't that the truth? Sometimes we just have to be with somebody, really be there in awareness and openness, if you will. If you can think about it this way, if we think about currency, as money, but currency as our energy, as our love, it's really the bank of kindness, and it's about giving what we love out to be in that kind of a flow. If we have apples, we give apples. If we have bananas, we give bananas. It's not about comparison. It's about being in that flow and allowing it to move through us. So be a gifter. If we just, it's nothing we have to learn. It's a natural instinct to be kind to other people. And if you don't think it's natural, even look at little kids. I mean, sometimes they fight over toys, but they want to come up and give a kiss or a touch. Or sometimes they'll bring you the dandelion from the front yard. You know, it's just natural in us. We want to make that kind of connection, if you will. It's not about comparing what we give to what others give. Each of us does from what we have, from our own bank of kindness, from our own currency of what we love. Also, don't get, keeping up with the Joneses. Don't pretend you have more to give or give more than is really part of what yours is to do. Sometimes, not just money, sometimes people give up all their time for something and forget about self-care, forget about family, forget about things that are important to them. Really, that's just going to the extreme is just as bad as not giving at all, as shutting down. You need to find that natural, easy path, if you will. And knowing that if you give less than what's inside of you, less than what's yours to give, there's something less in the universe. Somehow that cord has become unplugged. There's a little bit less energy flowing. So learning to find that sweet point in your life. So with that, we're going to go into a little time of meditation. And I invite you to close your eyes, if that's comfortable for you. And let's start out with a gift to our body. We're going to gift our body with comfort right now. We're going to think kind thoughts about our body. Wherever there is an ache or a pain, an itch, a discomfort, we just send it love. We freely send love to that place. We freely embrace it in that sense of wholeness and gratitude for all the ways it has supported us in the past and is supporting us right in this moment. We say, thank you, body. I love you. I so appreciate you. And if you're trying to get my attention about something, I am open for greater clarity. And as you move deeper into the gift-giving of our soul, we find that there are so many openings where we can send that love, where we can send that appreciation, where we can send that connectedness. Love building a bridge. My heart to yours, your heart to mine, heart to heart, in peace, in harmony, and in the deepest kind of wisdom. Everett Hale, the poet, said, I am only one, but still, I am one. I cannot do everything, but because I can still do something. Because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. That divine impulse reaching out, a Valentine to our world. Be it to that stray dog walking down the street, the cashier at the grocery store, the person driving behind us, beside us, on the road, sharing that smile, sharing the light, dispelling any darkness where we can bring our light in. And so it is. Amen.
I can feel it. I can feel it. Oh, your presence. Oh, your presence.
Feel it. Thank you, Greg. Whew. Okay, spiritual practice for the week. You have an opportunity of all kinds of ways to share your gifts this week. The Remembrance Day on Tuesday, Valentine's Day, Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent, and of course, whatever today might mean to you. By the way, if you're wondering which side, if you don't have a side for the football game, I'm just going to say that Unity Village is right next to Kansas City. Okay, just saying. Just saying. The Catholic sister, Joyce Roof, who said, "A few wise words echoing through Ash Wednesday urge me to deeper things, renewed dedication, constant compassion, and mindful awareness. I leave marveling at how simple and sublime is this envelope of the soul, which one day returns dust, only dust." So, by the way, our Lenten book did not come in. I'm